I now call the meeting to order. Let's invite the administration team to join us. Good morning, everyone. Mr. Lee from the administration. All right, you've submitted a paper number CB-4151-01, and I think members have already read it. So can you be brief in walking us through the paper, and then we'll invite the chairman of the HKMAL to supplement. Yes, sir. Good morning, Chairman. Our paper is the administration's response to issues raised by members at the last meeting. We provided some figures, and that's up to the day when we submitted the paper. They are the most updated figures. As we can see here, and of course some mediators might have their names shown on different lists, and we have over 1,000 mediators in Hong Kong who are already accredited. As to the accrediting criteria, as these organizations have not disclosed the details, we are not in a position to provide more accurate information to you. And that's precisely one of the reasons why we believe that it's better to have a single body responsible for accreditation. As to the question raised by Mr. Leung, that we convey his message to the Hong Kong Mao, we have already done so. For the other issues, from para 5 to 9, we have set out what preparation needs to be ready before the commencement of the bill, and we have basically done that. And if members have any questions, I'll be happy to take them. Yes, Mr. Butch.
We'd like to hear from you now about your views on the government's paper, and also in the last meeting, which you were not here, members discussed the readiness of Hong Kong Mao in setting up the scheme and your office and etc. Maybe you can give us your views on that. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for inviting me. This is my first time to this wonderful building. I have been working very closely with the administration on the creation of Hong Kong Mao. I think, as you're aware, I've been involved in the mediation movement in Hong Kong for many years, and in particular with regard to accreditation. I at present chair the Accreditation Committee of the Hong Kong International Arbitration Centre. I'm also on various other committees, the Judiciary's Working Party, and I have also been very much involved in the mediation movement in Hong Kong, and my particular interest is in accreditation. And I would be the first to say that I was delighted the day that Hong Kong Mao we got our certificate of incorporation. We've still got quite a bit of work to do. As you know, we have a body which has been formed, which we believe with the four premier bodies that have got, we believe, the most accredited mediators in Hong Kong. whose standards are, of course, very high. And that is something that we feel very strongly about. I became the inaugural chairman of this body, and we have, it is an industry-led body, and therefore we do not have any public funding for this body, and we considered that the most economic way to start... Should I wait?
Oh, no, please carry on.
The best way forward for us, bearing in mind that we are not a drain on the public resources, we're not asking for any funding, it's an industry-led body, that the best way forward would be to seek assistance from one of the bodies in the HK Mall to be the secretariat to start us off. And we have actually received 3 submissions to be the secretariat from the Hong Kong Mediation Centre, from the HKIAC, and also from the Law Society. And bearing in mind there are only 4 founder members, I therefore decided that 3 of us were in conflict of interest. So I asked the President of the Bar, Mr. Ramanathan, to work with Mr. Simon Lee and his team to put together basically a paper giving their views as to which of the 3 bids we should go with. So I'm waiting for that paper, but I believe it's quite well advanced. But we are now in the middle of November, and originally we had thought that we would start by the 1st of January. I'm not sure at the present moment, I can't give any commitment to this committee this morning, that we will be able to go live on with accreditation on the 1st of January. Because there's still quite a lot of work to do. I mean, I'm basically doing it all pro bono at the present moment, and I'm quite happy to do that. But at the present moment, like every body that starts up, it's got quite a lot of things to do. I mean, we must set up a website, we must meet a lot to ensure that we do not have a false start. So I'm not sure that we will be beginning on the 1st of January now. But I don't see any association between the Mediation Ordinance commencement date and HK Mall. I mean, there was at one time in the draft bill a mention of HK Mall, that came out at quite an early stage. And so I think we need to, you need to think anyway about, is there any association between these 2 things? And I would say there's not. We are very keen to ensure that HK Mall is the premier accreditation body in Hong Kong. And we can only do that because we've got no ordinance backing. We can only do that by grandfathering in those that seek to apply to Hong Kong Mall. And we're not saying that everybody will apply. And there's also, we know, a great deal of double counting between the various accreditation bodies. So I have read, and I don't disagree with the administration's paper, which you have before you.
Thank you, Mr. Bach. 議員有何秀蘭議員。
Ms. Sitho, Chairman. The industry has to do a lot. We don't know the exact number of mediators, and there are many organizations which said that they can train mediators. If we want that a guarantee of the quality of mediators, that they get the basic accreditation. So even if mediation ordinance comes into commencement and can protect, say, the confidentiality of mediation communication, if we are to ensure the quality of the mediation services industry, we need some more time. So my question for the administration is, what is the role of the administration in Hong Kong Mall? And would it have any undertaking? Of course, I know that now that there are some universities which offer mediation courses. Now there is this effort to commercialize the research output and so on, and a lot of people enroll in these university courses. So does Hong Kong Mall
have communication with the founding members on the fact that these students graduate from these universities. They may not be accredited. Would that happen? Mr. Lee, please. Chairman, mediation is developing well in Hong Kong. We're now promoting mediation services, and we don't want to adversely or affect the mediation service development. We want it to develop in a positive way. So part of our efforts is to establish HKML, and the industry has supported us in launching this mediation ordinance because we have a good mechanism to facilitate them to do mediation. So we have stipulations on confidentiality and admissibility and disclosure of information to courts, and we think that these are important aspects. We heard Mr. John Birch's remarks on the progress of work of Hong Kong Mall. On the administration's part, we want to promote mediation services. We are very concerned about the development of mediation in Hong Kong. We know that the industry is waiting to see how the administration is going to participate in the Hong Kong Mall's work. Now, this is going on. As regards university courses, we are paying close attention on their development. Definitely, we are undertaking communication with the universities. The Hong Kong Mall can talk directly with universities. Chairman, can I be more frank? Will the administration put a seed money amount for the Hong Kong Mall so that it can establish its secretariat to proceed with its work on accreditation as soon as possible? Some accreditation bodies may have a long history. They may have to pay an amount for the self-registration. Now, Hong Kong Mall is a new body. We have nothing, and we are starting from scratch. And if we have to set up a secretariat and we have to draw up a code of practice or guidelines, all these need manpower. Now, if the administration wishes to legislate on this industry, can you put aside an amount as seed money for the Hong Kong Mall to launch its work? Now, Mr. Lee, you also talked about the Hong Kong Mall will communicate with universities. You can't leave them to talk on their own because Hong Kong Mall doesn't have its statutory status yet. The administration should act as a bridge to ensure that the courses offered by the universities are in line with what would be recognized by all these accreditation bodies, or else graduates of these courses, no matter whether the courses are long or short, they might not be accredited, and then this may arouse complaints. First, a question on the seed money. Your response, please. Thank you, Ms. Sidho, for your question. First, we've heard that Hong Kong Mall is a private body, independent body, with no participation by the administration about its operation and funding. If the need arises, they can talk to the administration, and through various channels, we can consider funding them. But at the present stage, I can't tell you a categorical no or yes. And we need to know the amount they need, and there should be an application before we approve them. And there is a procedure to stick to. Now, if the demand is really urgent, we can do it or handle it in a special, fast or speedy way. As for the judiciary, we hope that there is a communication channel between Hong Kong Mall and universities. Now, if the need arises, we can definitely help Hong Kong Mall and universities to have a close dialogue to find out what each other needs. But what's more important is whether the graduates of these university courses can be assured that they have the accreditation or qualification status. Now, what's needed most is for the Hong Kong Mall to define what the accreditation standards are. Mr. Leung's remarks have been conveyed to the Hong Kong Mall. Of course, I understand that accreditation will not come automatically after, say, 40 hours of training. Now, if Hong Kong Mall finds that 40 hours is not enough, it should tell the training courses participants that they might not be enough, so that the students, before they enroll in these courses, they will know well in advance whether they can really join the trade hereafter. So as not to arouse any misunderstanding among the students, because this kind of cases we've seen before. There are so many associate degree courses now. For example, in some vocational training schools, or there are these nursing courses, and then these courses are not accredited by the relevant professional bodies. I hope Mr. John Budge is also aware
and start communicating with them, and actually any tertiary education institute, before they offer any courses on this subject, should be informed by the government that they should approach Hong Kong Mall for the qualification or future accreditation of the course.
I think there are two questions. Mr. Budge,
Yes.
First of all, is there enough funding and resources for Hong Kong Mall to start doing what it's supposed to do? And secondly, is accreditation issue.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'll deal with the funding point. Certainly the previous SJ was very keen and told me on many occasions that this was to be an industry-led, self-funding body. And I took that to heart greatly. And I would have thought that you, the lookers after the public purse, would be pleased that we've taken that to heart and that we aren't seeking any public funding. It's very much back-of-the-envelope stuff at the present moment, but you have seen the numbers of people that are in the three of the founding bodies, and we haven't, of course, counted the bar as well, who haven't got an accreditation body, but do, through CEDA, another well-known body, have quite a few hundred mediators as well. So we are hopeful that quite a lot of people will come along and pay the annual subscription, which will be pitching at around $900. And if my sums are right, that should ensure that we have sufficient funding. So at the present moment, I don't plan to apply for funding, and that whoever is the party who, in the end of the day, is going to be the temporary secretariat for this body, I think that they will have to wait a little while for their money until the annual subscriptions start flowing in. But certainly on our market research that we've done, there is a great deal of interest with regard to Hong Kong Mall. And I think that I've lived in Hong Kong for 34 years. I know Hong Kong people love qualifications, and that it's highly likely that they will apply to Hong Kong Mall, because the support that has been given to Hong Kong Mall by not only the administration but also the judiciary. Johnson Lam, for example, who's a very highly respected judge, as I'm sure you're all aware, has been very, very involved in the various committees that I've been sitting at. He sits also on the Accreditation Committee of the HKIC, and I can see that the judiciary, right up to the Chief Justice, we've got the backing in HK Mall. So I hope, maybe it's not me, but I'm hoping that in my equivalent in 5 years' time will come before this committee and ask for some statutory backing to HK Mall, because it's been a success story. But I want it to be a success story. because the proliferation of accreditation bodies in Hong Kong is unsatisfactory. And there are far, far too many people that call themselves accreditation bodies. And this, because of our geographical location, geographical position in Hong Kong, a small place, lots of people, that we have the potential of doing something which very few other countries in the world have been able to do, which is create this overarching premier accreditation body. And I am excited by it. And I'm certainly, and my fellow directors as well are excited by it, to take on this challenge, because I think it would be very good for Hong Kong. So that's the self-funding side. With regard to Ms. Ho's points, and I wholly agree with her, with regard to that we do not want to have false expectations. I have to say that there's a great deal of interest in mediation, but there's not enough mediations around to make. There are very few full-time mediators in Hong Kong. And I don't think that there will be that many full-time mediators in Hong Kong. I think a lot of people that attend courses are not planning to be mediators. I think a lot of them attend courses because they want to know more about mediation, or they're going to be representing parties before mediations. But I think what we've got to be very careful about, and certainly in the HKIC, we certainly never say to anyone that just because you're an accredited mediator that you're going to have a full-time job as a mediator the next day. And I think that we have to be careful that we don't overqualify a huge number of people in the mediation field. They're believing that by investing that money that they will get a great amount of work the next day. No, I don't think that's going to happen. But there is no doubt there's a great deal of interest in mediation, and certainly someone who is very interested in mediation, I think it's wonderful that all these people are coming forward. We in the HKIEC and in the HKML, and I think the HKML will be, you've got to remember there's quite a lot of, by the founder members, quite a lot of experience now in the accreditation of mediators, will and have worked with the universities. Certainly many courses in HKIEC and in the Law Society are courses run by the university and that the universities of Hong Kong. And so we are very aware that we need to work with the universities, and that they know the standards that are required, and to ensure that those that do attend these courses and invest time and money will be accredited. So I take your point, Ms. Ho, and we are aware of it, and we have been aware of it, and we will continue to be aware of it.
Thank you, Mr. Butch. Tam Yu-chung議員。
Mr. Tam Yu-chung, with regard to mediation and the notion that disputes can also be resolved by mediation instead of resorting to legal proceedings, I think that's good. As for mediators, I understand that the number is adequate for the time being, because I think this kind of work needs to be further promoted, and more efforts will have to be made in order to promote this among people, because not many people are aware of it, or some people might not be willing to resort to it in resolving disputes. I understand that some of my lawyer friends, when they try to take the test, or when they want to be accredited according to them, they said that even after taking the course, it's not that easy to pass the test, and they will have to work very hard before they can pass the test. And comparatively speaking, some of my friends who are not lawyers themselves have managed to pass the test, so it may not be that difficult. And for those who have been accredited, they know what it's all about, and what can help them in their daily work, including some district councillors. They've actually made some attempts to take the examination, and I think, well, they said that that would help them in dealing with cases in the future. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they are taking the course in order to be accredited, and then they can practice in the profession. Well, in particular, after the Hong Kong Mall is set up, you will have to give us some report, because there might be different cases, and you will have to enable the mediators to accumulate experience. That's the most important thing. And cases do vary, and it's not possible for any individual to know them all. And even for lawyers, they will also have to choose cases that would be better suited to them. In particular, some mediators might be more familiar with family cases. Others might have to do with financial, economic, or commercial cases. So we will have to enhance the standards gradually in order to ensure that there will be more experienced mediators or even specialized mediators. I think that would be the way to go after the establishment of Hong Kong Mall, so that there can be we can set up a team of mediators with different expertise, and that would also provide greater confidence in the clients, so that they will think that mediators are of high standards and they are able to help me, and then that would also build up the trust, and that would help resolve the initial problem and meet the objective of the Mediation Ordinance. I think we can work in that direction. So that's my comment. Yes, Mr. Lee, would you like to respond? Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Tam, for his comments. We will take that on board and we will work in that direction. Indeed, that's very much our view too. Mr. Butch?
With Mr. Tam, and there's a great deal of interest in Hong Kong. I think we're still in its early days. I don't think we can quite call it a profession, but it's an area which is growing, and there's a great deal of interest. We already have a substantial body of family mediators in Hong Kong, and in fact, if you look at the history of mediation, the mediation movement in Hong Kong, it effectively started off in the family area, and it's grown a bit, then into construction, and then there was a great void in the middle where there wasn't too much mediation going on. And we've had to do quite a lot of catch-up, and Hong Kong's really taken it on board very much after the civil litigation proposals for change, and also to make mediation part and parcel of the litigation process, of the court process, should I say. So we're still early days yet. I mean, Hong Kong Mall, certainly I take on board Mr. Tam's helpful comments and Ms. Ho's helpful comments, and we'll certainly bear those in mind. And as I said earlier, I think hopefully all of you share with me the view that Hong Kong Mall will be a success, and that if it is a success, as I said, the obvious step forward is that it will become a statutory body with statutory powers. But at the present moment, it's very much we have to win hearts and minds, and to show that we are a body, an inclusive body, but also in many ways an exclusive body. We can't allow any Tom, Dick and Harry to apply, who goes on a half an hour course, or not, maybe half a day course, to become a mediator. We have to have recognised standards, and this body, I have to point out, and I would like to underline, and I've said this on so many cases, Hong Kong Mall will be a regulator. Its job is to look after standards and discipline. It's not in any way dealing with promotion of mediation. There are many other bodies that will be dealing with promotion. We will be very much a standards body.
Thank you, Mr. Butch. Leung Wei-Fen議員.
Ms. Priscilla Leung, thank you for coming to today's meeting. I think mediation is something that we would like to promote in Hong Kong, and we want it to succeed. And I believe that this is also in line with public interest. Just now, Mr. Tam said that some lawyers might not be able to pass the exam easily, and others who are not lawyers might have found it not that difficult to pass the examination. I think one of the reasons is that you're not just relying on law to mediate. Actually, that would also involve other disciplines, and that's why for financial affairs and also family mediation, well, it involves the parties concerned and also the mentality or approach in reaching a settlement. So mediation is done on a voluntary basis. That's why, according to my past experience, very often it takes parties who are very mature, and they do have a very good understanding of their lives, and also they understand the differences between the different parties. That's why they are willing to go for mediation, and only then would mediation succeed. And therefore, I'm very concerned about the design of the courses. As I said at the last meeting, I'm also in the law faculty of CityU, and taking CityU as an example. In terms of alternative disputes resolution, in that course, they are actually one of the pioneers. And in terms of arbitration and mediation, they do have international experts taking part in running the course. And there are 2 other universities, as far as I'm aware, are also running mediation courses, and they are also starting to offer those courses. So I'm concerned about the design of the course in order to ensure that you'll be up to standards, as Mr. Budge just said. And also in terms of the recognition of their qualifications. So for such qualifications to be recognized, you will have to know exactly who's going to offer the courses, who's going to run the courses. And also before the establishment of Hong Kong Mall, many of the institutions might have gone ahead very quickly. In particular, universities and also law faculties of these tertiary institutions. How are you going to ensure that experience will be taken on board? And that will also be made part and parcel of the Hong Kong Mall, which, according to you, is a regulator. So when you accredit those courses, how are you able to ensure that different stakeholders will be able to give their input, so that other than giving their input, they can also, so like what we've been doing in the courses, what they will be automatically recognized, because it's not a course run by other bodies, and therefore for recognized educational institutions, when compared to other bodies that might be offering mediation courses to the public. In terms of cooperation, how is it going to work, and how would such qualifications be recognized? And within Hong Kong Mall, have you absorbed people who might have been responsible for running these courses in the universities? So have you got those people on board of your committee? All right, I'll call upon Mr. Budge, Chairman of the Hong Kong Mall, to respond.
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Lung, thank you for your comments. Ms. Lung, we have at present just 4 founder members, but we intend to be inviting other members to join the Hong Kong Mall, and we already have quite a substantial amount, I think, of experience on our committee. Let me just point out my own experience in this area. As mentioned earlier, I have been sitting on the Hong Kong International Arbitration Centre Mediation Accreditation Committee. That's a rather large mouthful. But I have been involved in the accreditation of mediation courses now for 15 years. And I have been chairing the Mediation Accreditation Committee of HKIC for almost 6 years. So I would say that I know a little bit about this area. And I would have thought that we have, certainly in the Mediation Accreditation Committee of HKIC, been accrediting courses from the universities for many, many years, and have worked very closely with those universities, and we will continue to do so. And so, therefore, I don't think that the City University, your institution, or any of the other institutions that we've worked with, Hong Kong University, Space, we've worked with Chinese University, we should have any concerns that we will not take into consideration the same type of criteria that we have in the past, and that we will work very closely with them. So I would like to put your heart at ease on that particular area. And we have certainly been working very closely in the various committees that I've been involved in with people like Professor Naja Alexander, who used to be one of your colleagues at City University, now at Xiuyan University, who is a world expert in this area. So I think that we are, I think we do have the experience, and we will not be reinventing the wheel in this area. We will be using similar standards that we have used in the various bodies in the Hong Kong Mall.
我想即係問下咧，頭先
I'd like to know, as I said just now, well, for university-run programs or courses, what they are formal, regular programs, so they might be exempting selling credits, or they might be. So would you be considering those in detail? Because I've been at the university for 20 years, and for taught programs, the design of such programs, and how a student is to complete a course. I think that there's set rules and regulations as to how these courses should be run. So within Hong Kong Mall, yes, you're setting it up as a limited company. So how are you going to promote this? Or are you doing what you said just now for individual colleagues who might have worked in the universities? But then when it comes to actually establishing cooperation with these institutions, I think it's a different matter. Because for individual members who might be very experienced, for example, I've also talked to the steering committee of the administration, and I've also approached some universities, in particular the person in charge of a particular course. So yes, there might have been some consultation. But then under existing resources, universities are all UGC funded. And the reason why we have to convene this meeting, that's because the other day when we had a meeting, some colleagues said that we don't want the Hong Kong Mall to repeat the problems of the traditional Chinese medicine sector. All right, I was just referring to the experience or the cases in the universities. But then there are other institutions running mediation courses. And the problem with TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, is that many who claim themselves to be stakeholders, they came here to protest and demonstrate, and then there were many complaints, and even now those disputes have not stopped. Well, instead of us promoting it, but then as a result of that, many veteran or experienced TCM practitioners might have been adversely affected. And I understand that there are many institutions who are not universities, and they're trying to run such courses, and therefore, as far as this council is concerned, we want mediation to succeed. And therefore, all the experience that you have built up so far, so I think you will have to be inclusive, you will have to accommodate all the talents in mediation.
who named, yes, I know they are already in the mediation circle, but it is very different from absorbing all the existing stakeholders as well as the experienced entities. And we really want to avoid the situation that has arisen from the Chinese medicine experience.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. It's an area, traditional Chinese medicine is not an area that I know anything about, but I can see that you are concerned. We are a body that is trying to be as inclusive as possible. At the same time, we have this other part of our role, which is to ensure standards. And I'm sure that this group here, will be the first to agree with me that we have got to protect standards, because a lot of these mediators will be facing up to the general public, and we must ensure that they are properly qualified. There is already quite a body of experience with regard to accreditation of mediators in Hong Kong. We also are very aware of the good work that's being done by the tertiary institutions, and we will certainly take into consideration the views of the tertiary institution. But at the same time, we must take into consideration the views of the industry generally. And so there's quite a lot of tension here that we've got to ensure that we are listening to all the various stakeholders. And it will not be an easy job, but we will do our best, because we don't have statutory backing, and I'm not asking for statutory backing, but we need to take it a step at a time. We hope that we will get a body of mediators to join HKML, and that in time this will be the premier accreditation body in Hong Kong.
主席，我要追問
梁美芬議員。
嘅，係啊，政
Yeah, we are very concerned about the standards. On the issue of professional standards, why do I raise this? Because I don't teach the subject of mediation myself, but I do see that there are a few courses in the universities which touch on mediation and which actually offer a lot of materials on mediation. I think your answer just now to be too government-like is not a very satisfactory answer. I hope that you can spell it in concrete terms how mediation courses or alternative dispute resolution courses offered by universities. Well, I think you should absorb the professors of these courses into Hong Kong Mao, because they have accumulated so much experience in teaching mediation, and some of them, the courses offer degrees, and they are very familiar with the curriculum design, and they know what constitutes professionalism. I don't think you should say you would consider absorbing them. I think in launching training courses, you should at least invite these professors from universities who are very experienced to design the courses offered by Hong Kong Mao. I don't know whether you would offer courses in conjunction with the university, or would there be, say, extra curricular courses and so on. We want to offer courses not only for a minority group. We hope that the courses can be for the whole community, and the courses are of a very high standard. A fresh graduate may not become a successful mediator, and this person has to be accumulating a lot of life experience before he becomes a successful mediator. So I know that a lot of people can afford the litigation costs for, say, in the Lehman Brothers incident, we've got a very good example of financial mediation, because the clients or the parties to the dispute can't afford the litigation. So I'm asking that you would be very transparent in drawing up your courses, and you can absorb the overall talents and experience accumulated in Hong Kong all over the years in Hong Kong. You should not just consider absorbing these professors, but you should really do it. Thank you.
Ms. Lin, I hear your points. Let me just step back a little. With this body, Hong Kong Mao will not be offering courses. I mean, we are an accreditation body. We are not offering courses. We are not doing anything different than what the mediation accreditation bodies of the bodies that we're looking at in the founder members, the Law Society and ourselves and the bar. It's not our job to provide courses. Our job will be to accredit courses, and we already have got, I think, a lot of knowledge through both, certainly, the Law Society, who very much have followed the HKIC's model over the last 15 years. So your institution, the City University, also the other universities, well know the standards that we've been looking for and have been very helpful in setting those standards. So I don't think that you need worry that we're going to create a whole new body of standards on day one. That's certainly, as the chairman, I mean, I'm only the chairman, I'm not, can't speak for the whole board, that we will not be reinventing the wheel. So I don't think that your body should be in any way, your university should be in any way concerned that with the creation of Hong Kong Mall, that courses that have been previously accredited by, say, the HKIC will not be accredited after they apply in the new year for accreditation. So I think we've already, we're not reinventing the wheel. I mean, you're people like Mr. Beckett. I mean, we know him and we've worked with him, and so I wouldn't be concerned that we're going to say that there's this whole new body of standards, because we don't want to do that. We want to try to be as inclusive as possible, at the same time, as I keep on saying, to keep up standards and be transparent in the process as well.
係，唔好意思，主席，我
I have a follow-up question, Chairman. I'm not really referring to a specific university. You mentioned this one thing that I wanted to follow up. You would not offer courses. Do you mean that the community bodies can organize courses, offer courses at will?
They can offer the courses and we can accredit them. We will look at them, and whether they're up to our standards, we will accredit them.
即係話你哋
Do you mean that you would look at the different courses and then you will vet the standards of these courses before you accredit them? Is that right? Well, let me put it more simply. If my friends or some organizations, they're interested in offering courses and they can offer such courses, the crux is that you would look at the personnel trained by them. Is that right? Or do you have requirements before they offer these courses? Would you be setting any requirements before they launch the courses?
I've been working on the HKMR website, and the standards that we are going to be putting in place will be exactly the same standards as in the HKIAC website. So if you just go and have a look at the HKIAC website, you will get an idea of where we're going on this matter. And we will not, I repeat, we will not be offering courses. We will be merely accrediting those courses. So if your friends put together a course which is up to the standards that we are expecting, we will accredit it. And those people who go on that course will be able to get the accreditation for what we call Stage 1. And then there will be a common exam, a common assessment called Stage 2. These will be exactly the same as we've been doing for many years in Hong Kong, to ensure that people not only go through the academic side of the course, the 40-hour course, I'm talking of general mediators, but will thereafter be assessed. And as Mr. Tan said, he's no longer with us, that not everybody who is assessed passes the assessment. Again, we don't want a situation where 100% of people pass exams. That would indicate to me that the exam is too easy. We want to ensure that proper standards are kept up.
Thank you, Mr. Budge.
主席再
Just one more question, Chairman. So it is very clear now that any organizations or individuals can organize mediation courses. So there is no threshold on the offering of courses. The crux of the matter is there will be a threshold on accreditation. Is that right?
I'm really not quite sure, Ms. Lang, where you're coming from. I've said to you that we will expect that course to be of a certain standard. That course will have to have people that know what they're doing. We will expect not only the materials, we will examine the various slots during the 40-hour course that will be done. We will expect experienced tutors. We will expect certainly a very experienced course director. We will expect high standards of those that provide courses.
Yeah,
so again,
we
not
know.
anybody.
Sorry, I think Mr. Budge, actually what I'm talking about is from the very first stage, actually there is no limitation for anyone who might be interested to offer courses. Am I correct?
Well,
we are not talking about the content of the course, because we are concerned about, if there is anyone in Hong Kong, if they find this is a popular trend, they may consider to open certain kind of training house, and then they will offer courses. So I'm asking, actually, right now, we don't have any kind of barrier or limitation or rules as to who is to open courses in this regard. That is what I'm asking, not the content of the course. That is the second stage. Whether you will accredit or whether they reach the standard, this is another matter. You know, Hong Kong, everyone would do advertisement for any kind of market or commercial opportunities if they can see.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Butch. Just, yeah.
Right. Yes, I mean, we live in an entrepreneurial society in Hong Kong. If these people have got the various standards, then they could set up a course, because there is no legislation in Hong Kong stopping people from doing it.
Okay. The answer is
Okay. 張文義，謝偉銓議員。
係，多謝主席。就
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Tony Chair, there is a lot of work to be done by Hong Kong Mall. It's got a great mission. We hope that the mediation services can be a success and is widely acceptable in Hong Kong. In accreditation, I believe that Hong Kong Mall will be doing a lot of work. As I heard that there will not be a lot of full-time mediators. Some people are interested in serving as mediators, and they may have a full-time occupation in other areas. Well, the number of mediators recognized or accredited by the three bodies is close to 2,000, but whether it's enough is a matter of opinion.
Well, I've also talked to my constituents, that is in construction and surveying. Well, there were many construction or building contracts or disputes in the past, and there might have been many disputes in our sector, and many of our constituents have taken part in mediation work in the past. Just now, I was pleased to learn that actually, as far as Hong Kong Mall is concerned, you'll be prepared to take on board or absorb many members who have experience in the field, and you'll be prepared to take on board their views, because when I talked to my sector, there were views expressed saying that for the 4 founder members, there were only 4, and of course I do understand that you could not have had too many founder members, but then for the Surveyors Institute and so on, well, they might have the impression that the Hong Kong Mall might mainly be excluding those who have not been founder members of Hong Kong Mall, or they might not have taken part in the initial work of the Hong Kong Mall. Well, of course, that's not true, and therefore you will have to do more communication with these bodies, because I've taken part in this subcommittee, and I will try my best to explain this to my sector, and I hope that in coming up with the standards, yes, mediators will be involved in different types of jobs, and therefore we do need talents from different fields, and therefore you will have to communicate with different sectors, so that for those aspiring candidates hoping to become mediators, I understand that this is a difficult task, but I hope that you will try your best to make sure that all the views can be reflected in the Hong Kong Mall's work, and that would also ensure the success of Hong Kong Mall, and for those mediators, well, they will also do a good job in the future. Mr. Butch.
Mr. Chair, thank you for your comments. I'm well aware there's a sort of perception, and I've gone out of my way to try to ensure that that's not true, that this is a legal body and has been rather taken on by the lawyers. And that's not true. I certainly had a very interesting experience earlier in the week. On Tuesday of this week, we had another meeting of the Mediation Accreditation Committee of HKIC, and 32 applicants for general membership. And I was delighted and pleased to see that the majority were not lawyers. In fact, that day they were very much in the minority, and we had nurses, we had surveyors, we had doctors, we had architects, we had management consultants, and various other disciplines, teachers. And I thought, this is just wonderful, that all these people have attended these courses and have gone through the assessments and were accredited by my body. And I thought, this is great. This is showing that really this is an industry which has got a lot of different specialisations and people from lots of walks of life coming forward. And I hear about the surveyors. There are many surveyors who are already on the panel at the HKIC. And again, I hope that they will, when eventually we're ready to go, will apply to become HK-MAL accredited mediators. And also I'm aware that the surveyors also want to get involved with Hong Kong MAL, and I welcome that. So I think the construction industry, a great deal of good work has already been done in mediation services for the construction industry, and I hope that mediation will continue to be a very useful tool for settling building disputes in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Bush. 梁美芬議員第二輪。
Ms. Priscilla Leung, second round. Yes, just now I had a dialogue with Mr. Budge, and he made it very clear that as whoever is interested and whoever thinks that this is a good business opportunity can take part. But then what I'd like to say is, well, we'd like to promote mediation in Hong Kong. We would like this to succeed so that there can be fewer disputes, fewer complaints. And therefore, in offering such courses while you're promoting mediation, because at the same time there might be different enterprises or different institutions offering such courses, because there is no need for them to have any particular professional background, and whoever is interested can take these courses. And I like to say that in the end, you might also have to set the standards. So it's like consumer interest or consumer protection, because in the end, will there be a lot of publicity and advertisements which might mean that the public, in enrolling into such courses, and in the end, will they become accredited mediators? Well, it's about expectation management. It's not just about managing expectation. But then while we are trying to promote mediation, we will also have to bear that in mind so that there will not be too many courses. And for those who have taken such courses, they also have to be aware that they will have to meet certain standards, because at the same time, they will become consumers once they enroll into these programs. I don't want this to happen, and therefore, I'd just like to raise this for your consideration. Would you like him to supplement or respond? No, there's no need. All right, thank you. Any other members who would like to ask questions? If not, then, well, let's take a look at the legal notice 167. All right, can we take a look at that paper? Mr. Budge?
But thank you very much for attending, especially so early in the morning. And thank you for your answers to the members' questions. We're going to move on to looking at the commencement notice now.
So I may leave, or do you wish me to stay?
You may if you want to.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much to members as well.
I
think the paper is simple. It's just a commencement date legal notice. It has appointed 1st of January 2013 as the commencement date for the ordinance. So any questions or comments? If not, then I'll be submitting the report of the subcommittee to the House, and for the timetable, the Secretariat. All right, Secretary, over to you, please. Thank you, Chairman. If members have already completed the scrutiny of the legal notice, as the Chair has already extended the scrutiny period to the 12th of December 2012, and therefore, if you'd like to move any amendments to the legal notice, then the deadline for giving notice of amendment will be 5th of December 2012, and as the Chairman just said, he'll be submitting a formal report to the House on the 30th of November. All right, if there are no further comments, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.